Welcome gamers, how you doing? A video from Oscar Cooper, and we're going to talk about the Wii U today, a system I've owned for a while. And yeah, you might be thinking, why on earth am I doing a video about an underpowered system that came out about 3 years ago? But it's got some major selling points, and they are really the exclusive titles available. There are a bunch of them, and if you're thinking about buying one, because they're going to be quite cheap now, go for this, because this video is going to show you what you've been missing out on. And of course, if you own one, then you know how cool the Wii U actually is. This is actually a ranked list, so I'm not including sort of smaller independent games, only full price games, and I'm not including remakes, so Wind Waker and sort of Twilight, etc. are not going to be in here, even though they're extremely strong games. I'm just sticking to the new stuff. So first up we've got Rayman Legends from Ubisoft, and relatively old this game, but it's on this list because of a number of reasons. It's got an adorable look to it, it's got some very good rhythm-based platforming going on in here, and what it does do well is utilise both controllers in puzzles and interactive gameplay. There is actually some really cool two-player aspects on this game. It's accessible on so many levels, a younger audience, people who aren't really massive gamers. It's a really good introduction to the system. It's not too expensive at the moment, bit of a must-have if you ask me. The series has run for a long time, it's got quite a legacy, and the boss fights are one of the areas that I enjoy the most. They are completely over the top, you know, they really do get you going, and so yeah, first on the list, Rayman Legends. Get down and enjoy it. Next up on the list, it's Super Mario 3D World, and I was a bit of an idiot with this because I bought the bundle with this already installed and went to my other titles first, the discs I actually bought. So it was a little while before I actually sat down and thought, let's check this Mario game out. And I owned it on the 3DS. I thought it was the same game, but my god, it isn't. And wow, these new power-ups, the way it looks, the four-player aspect, they really do work really well. The fact that it's on that till gives Mario this brand new depth, because it's a hardcore platform game. It's not like the 64 version where it's more exploration. This is back to its roots, and the multiplayer aspect is just so much fun because you can actually throw each other off the course. There's a great utilization with co-op and the gamepad itself, and there was the really good puzzle modes that actually made it to a fully fledged game, the Mr. Toad's Treasure Hunt I think it's called. So it does work, it's very strong, it deserves to be one of the flagship Mario titles for the system. And if you've not played it and you're thinking that it's just kind of a run-of-the-mill Mario game, it isn't. It's very strong. Get down there with this one. Next up we've got the adorable Pikmin, Pikmin 3 to be precise, exclusive for the Wii U, and a very clever RTS game. I was involved in Pikmin on the Cube, and I saw this game hard copy on the shelf and spoke to a few mates, and they said that I should grab it because apparently it's not too common. What's the game all about? Where you've landed on a planet, you've been separated from your team, and you sort of accumulate these different Pikmin types that allow you to open up new areas, solve puzzles, etc. The game really does scratch the RTS itch for me. I'm a big PC gamer on the RTS front, and this one does some great resource management and puzzling in that direction. It's got this cool Metroid-esque idea where you open up new areas when you discover new Pikmin, and some of the boss fights on this game are totally off the wall, really clever. They're sort of done in an arena style. The story as well is quite dark. It's got some quite harsh restart elements to it, and one of the things it boasts is a really good utilization of the pad. You get to do some freehand operations with the stylus, and you also get to share that responsibility with someone else if you want to play it co-op. There's also a split screen competitive mode on it, which was something I tried out the other day, and it's really cool actually. You go head to head with someone else, and it's all done on the same screen. Very clever. The selling point also is the crazy aliens and enemies, so yeah, this is a must-have if you own a Wii U. Pikmin 3.
The wonderful... I knew we forgot someone. You.
Next up is our first Platinum Games title on the list, spoiler alert, and it's the Wonderful 101. And if you know me and you know the channel, you know how obsessed I am with Clover Studios and Platinum, and this game really does carry the torch so well. You've got elements of Akami in there, you've got some of that crazy reactionary-based combat mechanics that we see in a lot of their previous titles. But really, what I want to emphasise here is that it's completely obvious that the guys were left unhindered when it came to the development of this game, because it is crazy off the wall with both its mechanics, its story, its visuals. Even the bad dubbing deliberately done on the character speech is just hilarious. So yeah, Wonderful 101, it's a must own for the system. Great utilization of the pad, you get to actually freehand draw your moves. It's got some beautiful boss fights and choreography in it, and the art style has got this Saturday morning kids TV thing going on. Unmissable, this game. If you own a Wii U and you have not purchased this, get your head around it, because it is a wonderful game. Yeah, enjoy. Next up, we've got Splatoon, which is Nintendo's answer to a first-person shooter. And I remember it being shown at E3, and there was a lot of snobbery about this, because you may know, or you may even be, one of these hardcore, violent FPS players, be it Call of Duty or Battlefield, etc. And I must confess, I am a little bit like that. If it's not got guns, death and blood in it, I'm like, how can that be a decent FPS? But you all know the phenomenon that is Splatoon. I mean, it came out, people were dubious, and then they actually played it, and they were just like, holy crap, it's absolutely awesome. It's awesome because it doesn't just centre around, you know, shooting someone. It actually has got this cool idea of covering the map with your ink, and it's got this incredible movement mechanic where you can duck in and duck out and get some speed when you have the colour of your team in front of you. Culturally, I think, and this goes for Nintendo in general, and it's a little bit like Pixar films for me, they have this accessible entry level for the younger audience, but they also have this deeper adult sort of skill level, and Splatoon's a really, really clever example of that. It starts off as something that you would imagine quite shallow, but the more you get involved, the more you sort of get things opening up. You realise that there's some really, really cool strategic elements to it. Splatoon is a phenomenon, and it did really well when it came out. It's still doing really well. It can compete with any first-person shooter in my eyes. It's actually got quite a decent campaign to it, and if you're a big internet fan like me, you know that there's memes and kid or squid stuff everywhere. I mean, yeah, what a cool title. Yep, next up we've got Mario Maker, and Mario Maker is one of the killer apps for the Nintendo Wii U. That's because of the gamepad and the ability to freehand and actually get involved in some really, really cool ideas with construction of levels, and you know, that sheer amount of creativity that pad allows is really, really well utilised with this particular game. I have a bit of a history with map makers and sort of being able to edit your own stuff within games. I remember Trials offering it actually back on the 360 as a download game, and Doom did it with the snap map stuff, and something about this brings out a really, really big amount of creativity with me, and I think that this is a very clever idea about introducing a younger audience into rudimentary game development. If you're experienced and good enough at Mario Maker, you're going to be hitting the ground running when it comes to a creative role within the company, or just taking that subject at school at sort of mid-range level or at a junior level. It's a really good introduction. It's also a bottomless pit in regards to Mario levels. So if you're a fan of Mario and you want to just see all different variations of the Mario game itself, then you've got this amazing bin of user-generated content in here that is just endless, and some of it is so hard. That's the thing. You can just make stuff hard and you can play stuff hard. Mario Maker, amazing. Yes, it's time for the amazing Super Smash Bros. And what a brilliant, brilliant game we got for the Wii U here. You've got additional characters, you've got new maps, you've got some really good DLC that's come up, you've got Bayonetta as a playable character, but one of the things it boasts is 8 players on screen at the same time. I mean, how cool is that? Get your mates round, get their controllers out, everyone's going toe to toe on the same screen. That's a really good idea. You've got a very slick online multiplayer mode on here, and you've also got the addition of the 3DS as a controller in itself. It's Amiibo compatible, and you've got some of your favourite characters from the Nintendo world all going head to head in some cool maps. I mean, the maps are one of the major selling points to this game. They add so much variety, they give all kinds of different gameplay changes and aspects to it. You've got your stunning smash moves and finishes. I mean, this game format is coming up to over a decade old, but it hasn't aged at all. With this new lick of paint on the Wii U version, it makes it one of the strongest games on the system. I will always go back to this game. Having mates round, I've watched arguments, fully grown men argue whilst playing Princess Peach. You know, the situations that come up are great, and as with all Nintendo games, you know, it's got this accessible front end to it, but then there's that depth to be found, and I had to really stick with a single character and play for lengthy periods of time to utilise all of their strengths. I love Smash Brothers. It is one of my favourite Wii U titles, and yeah, if you've been counting, we've got the top 3 coming up, guys. Things are going to get really cool. We've got some of the best Wii U exclusive titles on offer coming up, so stick around and enjoy. And yeah, Super Smash Bros. Number 4 on the list. Love it to bits.
You want to touch me?
She came back to us, guys. The delectable Bayonetta from the 7th generation systems got a sequel, but it was a Wii U exclusive. My god, that wound me up at the time. I was just so angry that Nintendo had purchased exclusivity to this game, but looking back at it now, I actually relish the decision, because it was a motivation for me to purchase the machine in itself. I was one of Bayonetta's biggest fans, and you know about my platinum obsession. Everything was done correct with this sequel. It was a Game of the Year nomination, I think I seem to remember, but graphically it still is looking brilliant, and a lot of people are saying, oh well, how can it handle it, you know, it's not got the power. It totally has. It's totally awesome. It's an amazing sequel. This is top 3 of the list. This is the 3rd game in this ranked list, and I got no qualms in putting it there. If you don't own a Wii U, or if you're currently, you know, playing a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One, you're massively missing out. And if you loved Bayonetta 1 and are just thinking, Christ, there's no way I'm going to buy a machine just for that game, just let the other games on this list persuade you, because Bayonetta 2 is the jewel in the crown for this platform's exclusive games. It has an amazing co-op mode in it, would you believe, and it also has some really, really good challenge modes. The system and mission structure are fantastic. They offer loads more content. As with all Platinum games, it is a riot playing it through on hard as well. That is something I never get tired of. So yeah, Bayonetta, 3rd on the list. It's got quite a batshit crazy story as usual, but it does not fail to meet the expectations of a sequel to one of the best hack and slash games ever made. Platinum did a brilliant job. We can all relax that this game turned out exactly how it should have done, and if you have not played it, get yourself down there. If you've got a Wii U and don't own it, my god, you must be mental. So number 3 on the list, Bayonetta 2, brilliant game, excellent. Yes, you've all waited long enough, and it's time for number 2, Mario Kart 8, the strongest Mario Kart game ever made in my eyes. I know there's a lot of fanboys there who may prefer the N64 version or even the original Wii version, but this just came bowling in. It completely delivered on what it was supposed to do. It's added some new game elements. You've got some amazing anti-gravity stuff going on there, but I just want to start with where Mario Kart started with me. It started on the Nintendo Entertainment System, and it was the first time I saw some really cool 3D graphics in regards to a driving game that actually looked quite quite good. You had F-Zero, I remember, but Mario had an amazing split screen element to it, a 4-player split screen element to it as well. But I think one of the selling points for it is the quickness, the smoothness, the incredible ability to alter a race regardless of what position you're in, how well developed all the weaponry is, and how well developed all the different character types are with their different vehicle types combined as well. Mario Kart 8 is a system seller. It is without a doubt one of the best same room party games. It always goes on. Every single mate I have round says, when are we going to put Mario Kart on? It's the envy of anyone who doesn't own a Wii U, and you're lying if you say, oh, I don't give a shit about Mario, I can live without it. You can't. It's one of the best games ever made. It's one of the best 2-player racing games ever made. Despite its lack of realism, that does not stop it. It's brilliant, it's strong still, and I will say that the DLC with Zelda and the Animal Crossing stuff and the new tracks on it is one of the best value for money DLC packs I've actually purchased for the system, full stop. Mario Kart 8, number 2.
Pretty wild, huh? They're all indigenous, as far as we can tell. We need to learn to play nice with these guys.
Oh my god, I never thought this would happen to me, but I'll give you an explanation of where I am up to with this whole situation. I've put down Fallout 4, I've put down Doom, I've put down GTA 5, I've basically not turned the PlayStation 4 on in about a week. I'm going to go and play this game immediately after this video. I put this video together really because I worked out in my head that this is one of the year's best games, not just on the Wii U, but full stop. I kid you not. This game can go toe to toe with stuff like The Witcher. It is a JRPG with an injection of awesome real-time combat in there. I completely have fallen head over heels with the characters, with the environments, with the skells, which are the mechs that feature in this game. I mean, I've developed an unhealthy relationship with Elmer. I just can't stress enough what an impact Xenoblade Chronicles X has had on my life. It is completely taken over. I love the loot system, I love the character customization, I love the combat. The world itself is basically better looking than No Man's Sky. That is not being said lightly, but I'm absolutely astounded with it. The skill trees and the customization and options that you get within the combat are amazing. There's some really well put together quick time events. I'm looking forward to what happens with the story. I'm slack-jawed at how different all the environments are. I'm just beside myself with this game. It so far is definitely the best game I've played this year. It is definitely, in my eyes, the best game on the Wii U. If you love JRPGs but can't be arsed with all that faffing around, this game just goes straight for the jugular. An absolute modern classic. Xenoblade Chronicles X.